Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of July the 3rd, 2016. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Before I jump into this week and all the aspects that are taking place, I want to take you back a little bit. I want to talk a little bit and invite you to reflect or to remember or to visualize a time in the past when there might have been a moment that was difficult but necessary. A moment that allowed for some profound truth to reach your heart. Some moment that allowed you to consider just where it is that you are and how it is that you got there and what it is that needs to happen if you're really going to transform a situation in a positive direction. As hard as that moment might have been, and those moments can be challenging sometimes, it's truth, especially when we've wanted to see things more ideally. This is an honest evaluation that can be challenging, and yet it is the foundation for all kinds of wonderful things to start taking place and to eventually manifest in the bigger picture of our lives. This is that kind of week. There is a lot of truth here now, but there's also a lot of hope, there's a lot of faith, and a lot of inspiration as well. And a lot of it is thanks to a new moon. This new moon is happening with the sun, of course, that's what a new moon is, the moon and the sun meeting in the sky, and Mercury hanging out there as well, and all of these planets, what's called a stellium of planets, all of these planets are standing across the sky from Pluto. But that's not all what they're doing, okay? But if you just look at that, that's a very powerful conversation. For even one of these planets to have this kind of conversation is notable. But we've got this group of planets standing across Pluto. That is the moment of truth. That is the moment of honesty that ultimately lends itself to a rebirth of sorts, the kind of which allows truth to emerge forward, that allows us to understand what really matters, what doesn't anymore, and what really doesn't, maybe never did, so that we can express something more honestly and more positively in the world. So there's that element to this energy. The other part to this energy, though, is that this same group of planets will be speaking in harmony with Neptune, will be speaking in harmony with Jupiter as well, which says the hope is there, the optimism is there, the belief that things can be better is there as well. And as I looked at the sky, I was reminded of, there's this saying that says, there is no magic pill, there is a magic process. There's a magical process out there. All of us in some way are going to be wanting magic. We're going to be wanting the miracle. But this sky is showing us that that miraculous turnaround can take place, but it is more about trusting the journey that's going to get you there. This is not the kind of sky that necessarily is going to grant us a wish with a snap of the fingers. That's not where meaningful change can happen sometimes. Sometimes the most meaningful changes are those that you earn, those that require that you become the kind of person who's going to realize and live those miracles that you desire in your life, those magical experiences. The magical change that you desire in your life sometimes requires that you evolve and you become a certain type of person who is going to be that. Not necessarily. It's not always about having it. It's not always about doing it. Sometimes it's about truly owning it and being it. And that's what this sky is trying to get us to understand. We can be that more ideal thing, but we've got to trust the journey that's going to get us there. The other part of this energy that I find really interesting as well, though, is the element of acceptance. When Pluto is standing across the sky from this notable group of planets, the really interesting thing about Pluto is, as much as Pluto is about, as I said, rebirth, it's transformation, it's honesty, it is understanding what matters, it's the phoenix rising, right? These are beautiful metaphors. The snake releasing skin that you don't need anymore so that you can be more vibrant, more colorful, and stronger than you knew yourself to be before. These are beautiful and apt metaphors for what is taking place in the sky right now. But the thing is that Pluto can also be, can also represent an element of mourning, an element of pain, an element of having to look at circumstances as they are, not necessarily as we would like them to be. And it is about acceptance. It's about acceptance to what is less than ideal, and maybe even for a small number out there, there might even be some parts of this that feel a little unfair. Accepting what might not be fair as well can be part of the sacred lessons that Pluto teaches us. You know, this reminds me, as I look at this sky, I'm very much of the belief that we can have, do, and be anything that we desire. I do believe that as human beings, one of the most sacred things that we have is our free will, that we can decide what direction we desire to go in and hone in on that, focus in on that, and do what's required to get us there. But at the same time, I'm mindful of the fact that yes, there are lots of symbols in the sky that speak to this, our ability to manifest amazing things. It's beautiful that we can do that. But there are also symbols in the sky that speak to having to accept times where maybe we don't have that power, where maybe we have to accept that there's some sort of higher will playing out, that fate in some circumstances, in some moments, can be stronger. Now, are we also going to use those times to move us towards greater love and greater wisdom? Are we going to use those times to in some way be better people, to be more loving people, to be more effective people in the world, to be more successful, or to at least redefine what success is for us so that we're living more in alignment with that? Well, that's what the sky is saying. The sky is asking us to make that distinction. And again, for a small percentage out there, there might be some pain involved in this. There might be some sense that there are factors here that might feel bigger than yourself, and yet there's also peace. There's also faith. There's also knowing that there's a tremendous amount of power that you do have. And this is the sacred balance playing out this week. It has to do with fully understanding, more deeply incorporating the Serenity Prayer, right? We've been going through and we're sort of in the last stretch of Mars retrograde season right now. And this Mars retrograde season, a big part of it has been understanding and really integrating on a spiritual level the wisdom of the Serenity Prayer, which is, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Well, this week is going to bring that understanding very much apparent to a whole lot of us out there. And a part of the reason also, in addition to this new moon and the things that the Sun and Mercury are doing, in addition to this, we've also got an active Venus in the sky. Now, Venus is going to speak in harmony with Mars, right? So that's the understanding, right? That's the ease of that Mars energy that is helping us to see the wisdom of this Mars retrograde season. But what we also have happening is Venus speaking with Uranus. Now, this is going to get interesting because Venus speaking with Uranus, as much as there is this desire for passion, at the same time, Venus speaking with Uranus can really bring about surprises in matters of love, in matters of self-value, and in matters of money as well, possible with this energy. So do keep that in mind. As I look at this sky, it says to me that for most of us, it is going to be a truth that we have felt coming, that we know has been coming, and it sort of allows us a moment of pause to regroup and identify where our power is. What is it that we can do, right? Where is it that we do have some control? And that is the blessing with this sky. But then there's also that other element that has to do with surrender. And if you're able to listen, right, then the universe doesn't have to kind of jar that awareness in you. But if we're really adamant about not wanting to pay attention, about going the way that we're going to go, then the universe might have a wake-up call that really does feel like we've been awoken from a slumber. But I do want to emphasize, at the end of the day, we've got this harmonious Jupiter speaking to the sky, speaking to the new moon, speaking to the sun, speaking to Mercury as well. And we've also got Neptune bringing hope, bringing a sense of knowing that miracles are possible. And as I look at this, I can't help but feel incredibly hopeful. I can't help but feel that not too much time, 6 months from now, once we get to the full moon in Cancer, 6 months down the road, that a lot of us are going to be looking back at what took place right now with a whole lot of gratitude, A lot of us are going to be looking back to what took place right now and see how it set the stage for some phenomenal changes that allowed us to be reborn in some significant way. A rebirth that ultimately showed us some truth and some very vibrant colors that we can shine more boldly and more bravely in the world. Well, thank you so much for watching the introduction. I'm truly so grateful for it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up. It does mean so much. And thank you so much for the amazing interactions I've been having this last week. Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, nadiyashah.com, and the YouTube comments as well. Always grateful for it. So a few quick announcements, reminders, really excited about the things I have to share with you today. First, I'm going to be in Chicago. I will be in Chicago this coming weekend, okay? So not as the week starts, but towards the end of next week. And it is going to be on July 11th that I'm going to have just a little bit of time. I'd love to meet friends and fans who are interested in a consultation. Maybe I'll be able to see 2 people. And so if you are in the Chicago area and you're going to be in downtown Chicago the afternoon of Monday, July the 11th, and you would like to meet for a consultation, please reach out to me through my website, nadiyashah.com, and I can share more information with you and we can make that happen. It would be amazing to meet friends and fans out there in Chicago. It'll be my first time. I'm super excited about being out there. Also want to give a big, big thank you to all of you who have registered for the webinar series. Thank you so much. So in August, I'm going to be bringing Synchronicity University to real time, synchronicity.com, synchronicityuniversity.com rather, for more information on that. And basically every Saturday I will be doing a webinar. I've got 4 webinars planned. Space is limited. I'm doing one class on progressions, another on relationship astrology called Chemistrology, one class on looking at outer planet transits. So these are transits that really can change a life, and looking at the major ones that do that. And also one class called Getting to the Heart of a Chart Fast. So I'm really, really excited about sharing it. It's been getting an amazing amount of positive support. I have it kind of set up that every time someone registers for a class, my phone kind of goes off, and my phone has just been bing, bing, bing all day for the last week, and it's been lovely. Thank you so much for the enthusiasm and the trust. There is a limited time discount if you register for all 4. So again, go on to synchronicityuniversity.com. I can't wait to have an amazing learning experience with you guys online. And of course, if you can't join us in real time, the entire class will be videoed. And so a video download will be available afterwards for you to enjoy and learn from. It'll be so great. It's totally interactive. I'll be interacting with you guys, answering questions in real time. I can't wait. I think it'll be so, so much fun. I also want to send a very big thank you to friends and fans out there for joining me on Patreon. So patreon.com/Nadiya Shah. I'm writing my next book and there have been supporters. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. And this is especially meaningful to me because this is a project very near and dear to my heart. And I'm so excited about carving out that time and giving myself that time to actually share with you all these thoughts and these little blurbs, right? So far, they've just been little blurbs, but I'm really looking forward to carving out that space and presenting you with a new book. A lot of friends and fans out there who have joined me on Patreon have been saying that my first book, Astrology Realized, was very meaningful to them. Thank you for that. And depending on what you choose, like any amount is really appreciated. Some people are donating as low as $1. Other people are donating upwards depending on a package that you're choosing. So there's all kinds of perks for joining me there on Patreon. So I hope that you will join me there. Patrons do decide the FAQ videos. So you guys decide the topics of the FAQ videos that are published on YouTube. You join an exclusive community. I'm interacting with you guys there. And of course, you get previews before anybody else. And when the book is published, you get the very first copies as well. So you'll be very much in the loop. And I look forward to meeting you there at patreon.com. Also, of course, the Jupiter Specials. So the Jupiter Specials are now available for download on my VHX site. So it's nadiyashah.vhx.tv. And you guys are also loving them. I've been reading the comments there and responding. Lots and lots of appreciation there. Thank you so much for that. And so this is really if you want an early look at the Jupiter special. So the Jupiter is moving into the sign of Libra in the month of September. And as Jupiter moves into a new sign, so go our greatest blessings. And if you want to know how Jupiter's move into a new part of the sky is going to speak to you, and you want to know sooner rather than later, then please do join me, nadiyashah.vhx.tv. Join me online and have a look, right? And the great thing is it's pay what you want. So you can decide how much you want to pay, whatever value you decide to give it is totally great. And it's been amazing. You guys have been responding so well to that. Thank you. My heart is full with gratitude. Thank you so much. If you don't mind waiting, those Jupiter specials will be published on YouTube in September with the move of Jupiter into the sign of Libra. So it's actually going to be timed to the minute. So when Jupiter moves into the sign of Libra, that very moment is when those videos will be published on YouTube, the Jupiter special. So this is for an early look, and it's pay whatever you like, and it's nadiyashah.vhx.tv. A couple of more very quick announcements. My Fabulous jewelry line now has new products and new materials. It's the same design that you see, but it's now available in a wider variety of materials. You can now get the necklace as low as $17, and the keychain now is available for only $8. So if you're interested in that design, please do have a look. This current limited time design is going to be available until September 1st. So after September 1st, this line of jewelry, this first inaugural line, this latest season, will come to a close. And I'm super excited to announce new stuff coming up. And also just a little bit of a heads up, September 1st is my 10-year anniversary as being a full-time astrologer, the 10-year anniversary of my website. So I've got lots of things planned, tons and tons of giveaways. So that is also going to be like a real culmination date. So a lot of the offerings, things that you see available right now, September 1st is going to be the final date, and that's going to be the final date for this latest limited edition Fabulous jewelry line. Really looking forward to presenting you guys with new stuff that I will be, of course, surprising you with in the near future. So now we get to the fun part, and the fun part is that I get to introduce you to a new artist, as I do every new moon. And I'm so excited about introducing you to Karen MacKenzie. Karen MacKenzie's art is amazing. I love it. And actually, when I went on her site, because a lot of people submitted requests to be featured, and I remember going on her site and like right away I got giddy. And when I get like that, I know that I love it. I know that I love the art. And what's really amazing is that Karen does utilizes these archetypes of the images of goddesses from around the world, and utilizes that as part of expressing the essence of different zodiac signs. So she's got a zodiac series, and a lot of her art has this very mystical but also universal connection kind of quality to it. I can see the cross-cultural influences in them, the celebrations of different cultures, different sacred spiritualities from around the world, and I just absolutely love it. My heart rejoiced to see all the work that she has there, and has a very impressive body of work. Also has a collection of mandalas on there as well. So if you are so inspired, and I would really encourage you to go onto her website, have a look. It really is such beautiful art, and it really is like, this is why I do this, right? This is what inspires me to feature different artists on every new moon. And it really is to celebrate people just like this, who consciously understand that universal connection and desire to explore that in their work and through their art. Really very grateful to celebrate with you, Karen MacKenzie. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I do have personalized horoscopes on my website. If you'd like me to take a personal look at your sky, it would be a privilege to do so. And thank you so much for that. But of course, you being here right now is everything. You being here allows me to share something that I believe and that I'm committed to, which is to put an energy of love and wisdom into the world. I do believe that the universe is wise and loving. I hope that we remember that, and I remember that this week in particular when we've got this beautiful active sky playing out. But you being here allows me to live that mission in the world, and for that I am truly, eternally grateful. Thank you so much. So how all this wonderful stuff speaks to you and your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. All this energy building at the base of your chart and being amplified says that you are going to be hanging out at home, paying attention to home, looking at what's taking place with your family in particular. So there's a couple of ways to understand family. One is your current family that you have and how it is that you operate as a unit. And then there is your family of origin, like your parents. So this is going to be a time when very likely these people are going to want to spend more time with you. These people are going to want to have some one-on-one interactions with you as well. There might be, in all honesty, depending on where you're coming from, of course, might be a little bit of button pushing happening, okay? Ultimately, it's up to you to decide what you're going to do with that. It always is up to you to decide. But we do have that super supportive Neptune. We've got Jupiter supportive as well. And so what that suggests to me is that you have an understanding of what place from within whatever arises is coming from, that it's coming from a good place. And you're able to understand how you can be effective in any given moment and how you can be a positive force in any given moment as well. So as always, it's always good advice not to take anything too personally. That's especially true right about now. The one thing is, though, having that fortress of solitude, right? Having a space that's all your own where you can feel truly at home, let your guard down a little bit. That can be especially rewarding for you now and provide you with a whole lot of solace as well. I would also say you might want to work on your home in some way. You might want to work on whatever it is that you like to do, whether you like to do handy stuff, whether you like to do garden stuff, whether you just like to do some redecorating and put some things in different places. It can end up being really relaxing for you right about now. For those of you interested in the love perspective, we do have Venus doing some interesting things this week, also from the very base of your sky, speaking with Uranus, speaking with Mars. All of this suggests a time that can be full of surprises, okay? Full of passion, full of surprises. So this can be, especially if you're open to meeting someone new, connecting with someone from the past or having someone from the past just kind of show up out of nowhere can take place right about now. The other thing that's possible with this energy is that you meet somebody who is just uncanny, like someone that you used to know way back when. For those of you who are in an established bond, again, this is a time when home is the solace. Home is the place of solitude. And so as much as you can have that with that person that you love, and as much as they can give that to you, the more love you are going to feel. Hello, fabulous Taurus. This week's new moon, and very active new moon at that, is going to speak to part of the sky that has to do with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. So one of these people might be a little button pushing right about now. This is a very big sort of having your emotions stirred because of one of these types of people. And there'll be lots of emotion stirring all around for all of us. So strive to be gentle because people will be more sensitive than usual, very possible with a new moon like this. But what I do really love about this sky is that there's a sense now, a belief now, a sense of momentum now, that things are changing and that you can make things more ideal, especially if you accept where things are, particularly in light of a particular relationship with just one of these kinds of people, siblings, cousins, or neighbors. It's very possible now, as I said, some button pushing may happen, some reactions may take place as well that may surprise you, but this is about having the truth come out. And I have a feeling as I look at this, particularly with the family members, that this might have been stuff that has been kind of overlooked for too long. And there's stuff that's been kind of built up that has to sort of come forward now. So allow it to do that so that you can ultimately move towards some resolutions to have a better relationship. And that's key here, because ultimately it looks like your heart is so strong and you understand how it is that you're going to move towards greater love in the midst of all of this. And that also speaks to love as well. So where it comes to matters of heart, matters of love, it may be that one of these kinds of people has an opinion or something to express to you about where you are in love or where you are in terms of your relationship. Ultimately, it really is about you, right? It is about what feels right for you. But that might be part of what feels uncomfortable. I would also say to you that be mindful of any kind of flirtations that take place with neighbors right about now. It might be very innocent to you. You might be looking at it very differently than they are. And ultimately, this is an area where you get to decide in advance all the different interpretations that are possible. So just do keep that in mind as you're interacting with your neighbors. You might be very innocent for you, might not be, might be more than innocent for you. You want more, but it's being approached differently with your neighbor. So just be on best behavior all around, and you will be very glad for it. And speaking of romance as well, if you are in an established bond, this can be a time where a conversation kind of lends itself to some interesting reactions. So I would be mindful with this of talking about touchy subjects just right about now. I would also be mindful if you're open to meeting someone new around this new moon. Who you think you're getting might not be who you are getting. So just keep that in mind. The person you think you're interacting with, the reality might be very, very different. If you're open to meeting brand new people, you know, I always say, make sure that you are trying to make it real as soon as possible. So when those interactions take place, it's always a good idea to try and have a conversation, try and look at the person face to face, to know that this is the person that you find yourself drawn to in your online world. Hello, Fabulous Gemini. This week is a big financial week for you, and we've got this new moon happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with money that you earn. It has to do with salary. It also has to do with spending as well. As I look at this, in all honesty, one way that this energy can play out is a large expense showing up for you. I would be mindful of that, okay? Because what you want to be mindful of is this something that you really need, or is it something that you just want, something that you think could just be pleasant for you to have? That's an important distinction to make with this given energy. But if you make that distinction, eyes open, you know what it is that you're doing, then that becomes a different thing. Then you can be at peace with your choices. And that's really key here with your financial choices, that you feel at peace with the choices that you're making. This can be a time of some very powerful changes taking place for you, where you're coming to realize what's worth the money and what's not. And that's going to allow for a reconfiguration of sorts as you start to understand and start to consider ultimately what it is that you truly do want to do, what risks you're willing to take to move yourself in a more positive direction, being more satisfied not only with the money that you're earning, but the way in which you're making that money. Where it comes to matters of heart, we do have Venus moving through the same part of the sky. So as I look at this sky, it's very possible that money and love might in some way, whether they mix or whether they create some sort of tension or conflict, is part of this picture in an established bond that could happen. The other thing I would just be mindful of as well, we do have Venus speaking with Uranus. This can be a time when a friend has an opinion or has a little bit too much say where it comes to what's happening with you in an established bond and in your relationship. And even if you're open to meeting someone new right now, it can be a little bit murky ground between friendship and romance, if you will. So be mindful of that. I have a feeling as I look at this that a friend might express express some romantic feelings and you don't really know what to do with it or where to go with it. It's also very possible with a sky like this that early in the week you find yourself very drawn to somebody, maybe somebody you're already familiar with, but then that changes by the time we get to the end of the week. So ultimately, just keep it about the moment. As long as you're being in the moment, then whatever you choose cannot be a wrong choice. Hello, Fabulous Cancer. Well, it's a big week for you. We've got that new moon in your sign, and that really is key here. That new moon in your sign says it's a brand new beginning for you, and this new moon is going to reach to the heart of you. So get ready, because you are going to be making some big sweeping changes. Those of you born smack dab in the middle of your sign are going to feel this energy more than most. That means if you're born right around the 10th of the month, give or take 5 days on either side, you are going to feel this energy more than others. But all Cancers out there, this really is your fresh beginning. This really is your fresh start. And in some way, a new chapter of your life is starting now. And I'm seeing the moment of honesty really be about letting go of the past, letting go of dead weight. So for some of you out there, like really this may be a realization that you want to feel healthier, you want to feel more vital. That absolutely could happen with this. You want to feel better. So rooted in that and wanting to feel light and feel free. For some of you out there, or in addition to that, there's absolutely an emotional component to this as well. A desire to start again in some way so that you can be liberated from what feels like the bonds of the past. And ultimately, this is about being honest with yourself about who you want to be and then living from that place. What I also really love about this week for you is that you've still got Venus moving through your sign, which is going to speak to love. Early in the week is very strong in the context of love, very passionate in love, and it might be an attraction that spurs some of this understanding or some of these changes for you. But as we move towards the end of the week, that Venus is going to be speaking with Uranus. It will be an unpredictable sort of climate, romantically speaking. So my advice would be, as I look at this, if you're open to meeting someone new, focus your socializing efforts early in the week. But still, at the end of the day, it's very possible that a very strong, very fated feeling attraction for you and your opposite sign, Capricorn, very possible under a sky like this. And it might end up in very sort of ways that you didn't expect. So if you meet somebody new early in the week, what you get at the end of the week might be a different climate. So just stay in the moment and be open to that. It can happen, and it does happen all the time, actually, and that could happen right about now. If you are in an established bond, as much as there's some understanding early in the week and some desire, it could be that your partner is giving you an ultimatum of some sort early in the week. And it is late in the week where it feels a little bit like you're reconsidering some key negotiation that took place in the past already with your partner. So there may be a need to talk about things a little bit more. It might be that your partner surprises you in ways that you don't really know how to feel about, you're not completely cool with. And really, yes, talking can ease a whole lot of things. You do have Venus in your sign, which means love is with you. Regardless of what arises, you're able to bring sweetness and ease to any moment. Hello, Fabulous Leo. This week's new moon is happening in the sign just before yours. The number one thing I have to tell you is rest. Get a lot of rest, or at least give yourself that time. There's going to be a dreamy quality to you and lots of things stirring underneath the surface. So allow yourself that space. I would also encourage you to think about a ritual, like before bed kind of ritual, that allows you to get in touch with whether it's yourself, whether it's spirit, whatever it is that's going to feel like it's allowing you to recharge. Because on like a level of psyche, it might feel a little tiring this week. It's very possible that stuff that you didn't know about comes to the surface now and you've got to deal with it, in some cases very quickly. This could be related to your work. This could be related more personally as well, but ultimately what this is, it's almost like if you think about the stirring of a cauldron, right? Within you, within your spirit, within your psyche. And it's taking place now. Awarenesses are striving to come forward now so you can decide what it is that's going to go into your future or not. As I spoke of in your July videos, next month is going to be a big month for you. And I feel like so much of what's happening this month is really about the preparation for the bold and beautiful beginnings that are coming up for you. So go to bed with the intention of allowing what needs to be released to come to the surface, allowing it to be stirred so you can see it for whatever it is, and you can decide if it's going to stay or it's going to go. And that includes in love as well. As I look at the sky, one of the most likely scenarios is you may attract somebody into your life that ends up surprising you by who they are. And that ultimately is about you. It's about you saying, okay, why did I attract this kind of person? What was it in me that felt energetically so drawn to this person? And what is it that I desire to change now? For those of you in an established bond, again, this is, the stirring taking place. This is things coming forward, things coming out into the open. And it may be that your partner expresses some opinion about the world, about politics, about religion, those real safe topics there. But it could be that they express some opinion that takes you a little bit off guard, that actually surprises you. Now, ultimately, what you're going to do with it is up to you. I have a feeling as I look at this that ultimately your partner does want things to work well and does want to bring ease into the situation. So trust that. And at the end of the day, it is really up to you to decide what's negotiable and what's not. Hello, Fabulous Virgo. This week's new moon is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with friendships and your friends. And it's going to be these people who might bring a little bit of drama into your life, okay? So ultimately, it's about you deciding how much you're going to let that in or not. You can expect, though, as I look at this, I have a feeling for a small percentage of you out there, some interaction with a friend might leave you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. So this might be feeling judged by a friend, which is never fun, right? You need friends who understand you, who understand where you are, who encourage you on your journey. And sometimes people grow in different directions. Maybe they would have reacted one way 6 months earlier than they are right now. But ultimately, this is a little bit of a reality check as to where they are. It's up to you to decide if you are going to take on their values as your own or not, if they have a point or not. And it really is about you kind of standing in what is true for you, but also being honest with yourself, because it may be, again, small percentage of you out there, it may be the perspective of a friend rather, that is valued and that is needed. But in some cases, it really might not be. It might be more that you are being sort of unfairly confronted about stuff that is not theirs to confront you about. And what you want to do with it, again, completely up to you. But it is possible, small percentage of you out there, that one friend kind of ends up revealing that they're evolving in different directions. And that's really okay. Also, with this sky, though, I would be mindful, do not mix friends with money. That very well might be what stirs up a lot of stuff, okay? So keep those separate. It is a very good idea, particularly with a sky like this. When it comes to matters of love, we do have Venus moving through the same part of the sky, so love might be part of what ends up stirred right about now. Early in the week, Venus is in a super harmonious position, so there's lots of sweet energy going about. And if you're open to meeting someone new, a friend might look like a good prospect, or someone you meet through a friend might look like a good prospect. But as we move you towards the end of the week, it looks like surprises abound, okay? So I would say, as I look at this, that really, if you're meeting someone new early in the week, you may not know what they're really about, what's really going on under the surface. And you'll start to see that as we move late into the week. For those of you in an established bond, this can be a time where you start to wonder and you start to feel what needs to change and how willing is this person to change. Is it you that needs to change or them? So there's some, whether it's negotiating, but it looks a little bit more meaningful. It looks like a desire to be more deeply understood that may arise. Some of you out there might be just surprised at how much your partner really does want to understand you and does want to work with you. Remember, Jupiter is still in your sign, blessing you, blessing you, blessing you, without a doubt. And that Jupiter is speaking in harmony with that new moon taking place, which says to me, whatever transpires, you use it not only to your betterment, but to your absolute advantage. Hello, Fabulous Libra. This week we have got this very active, very profound new moon playing out, and this new moon is happening at the very top of your sky. And this particular new moon is saying new directions, new opportunities in the realm of your career. In fact, it is your career that is set to go through some transformation, some change, and ultimately some honesty within you. If you are on a career path, if you are on a path of what you're hoping to manifest as part of what you believe is your life purpose, then this can be a time that's very, all or nothing. So what I mean by that is either you'll be going all in to realize that this is not the path for you, or you'll be coming to this very clear understanding that there's a new path opening up for you, and it can be tremendously rewarding at that. And I really like this for you because it's about being honest with yourself about what direction you're truly meant to go in. And the thing is that ultimately that direction can bring about that much more greatness for you, that much more positivity, and that much more forward momentum. This particular sky says to me that you are getting clearer with yourself about where not only your success is, but also where your greatness is at this particular time in your life. So if you've been pursuing something that's been right for you, this is going to be a time where you really feel yourself propelling forward. If you've been pursuing something that maybe was just a step as part of figuring out where you're truly meant to go, or something that has served its purpose and you're now ready to evolve in different directions, then this is going to be a time that's going to make that clear and going to propel you forward. Where it comes to matters of love, we do have Venus moving through this part of the sky as well. Early in the week, it's super romantic vibes all around, and then lends itself to some super surprising vibes that can really go either way. So I would say, as I look at this, be mindful to keep separate business and pleasure. As I look at this, I think to myself, think about ultimately what it is that you desire in a partner. Again, if you're open to somebody new, if you are meeting somebody in the career field, particularly a boss, you want to be mindful. Is it just them being nice, which is very, very possible with a sky like this? Some misinterpretation, some mixed signals, dramatically mixed signals, very possible under a sky like this. If you can, keep it professional, always a good idea, especially a week like this. If you are in an established bond, this really is about thinking big picture. I have a feeling as I look at the sky that early in the week, it's like, okay, we are going, let's make all these plans and let's do all these amazing things and we're going to change things. And then later in the week, it's like, well, okay, we can change things like today when you're thinking next year, or vice versa. It might be you were thinking, let's make changes right now. And your partner's now, no, I meant like 2 years from now. So there might be some surprises there in terms of understanding your joint direction, but absolutely nothing that can't be negotiated forward from. Hello, Fabulous Scorpio. This week, we've got a new moon happening in fellow water sign Cancer. This does suggest that as much as there is some challenges and strong emotions arising, ultimately, it's in your element, so you know how to handle it. You're able to handle it with ease and with grace. This particular area of the sky has to do with a few different things, a few different areas of life. It includes things like long-distance travel, immigration, citizenship. It has to do with institutes of higher learning, and law and politics. So keep in mind that these areas of life, if you're involved in any of these types of institutions or situations right now, it can feel a little bit like a roller coaster, but ultimately will empower you. That's key here. You have actions you can take. There are things that you can do. So this can bring with it a little bit of an emotional roller coaster on your pathway forward. What seems like might be some good news might be there early in the week as well, but then it kind of gives way to some unpredictable ups and downs that then you have to deal with and you have to address. If you work in any of these types of industries as well, industries related to these areas of life, you can expect this energy to be that much more important to you and to speak to how it is that you're navigating this week, particularly in the realm of your work. There might be some changes in policies that are indirect, but now are going to directly affect you as well. So be mindful that things may change. There might be some judgments that you're not really sure what to do about. but you have a lot of power, a lot more power than you realize, and it just really is about reaching out to the right person. I would say what you do is you call a friend, or you FaceTime or whatever, with a friend. Have a conversation with a friend, because that is going to help you to understand better what your options are and will be the thing that empowers you. When we look at the sky from the realm of love, if you are in an established bond, this can be a time of a lot of hope and a lot of possibility. And yet there can be some changes if your partner is going through any of these areas. So what I mean by this is, if you are with your partner and there's an issue of immigration or citizenship to consider, then this is going to affect you this week in particular. And especially if your partner is involved in any kind of legal matter, then this is going to be a time when those issues are going to come to the surface as the two of you decide how it is that you're going to move forward on these matters. For those of you open to meeting someone new, this can be a time of attracting somebody dramatically different than anything you've known before. And what I mean by that is someone of a very different background, race, religion, culture, ethnicity, language even. And it can take you a little bit by surprise, some of those differences that might be there. So it's important too, with this given sky, be a little bit patient with another person that might arise, particularly if there's someone you're interested in. But I have a feeling as I look at this, like you might connect with somebody and then realize after the fact that, this relationship is based on Google Translate. That can happen. Trust me, it can happen. But that may very well be the situation with a sky like this, or you meet somebody, you're in the club, you're talking, you're having an amazing conversation, and then you go outside and you realize that you are hearing things very differently than what the intention might have been there. It's all fun, it's all good, and ultimately that doesn't mean that something good cannot arise from this. Absolutely, there can, but just know that there might be a little bit of a learning curve, particularly with anyone new who you meet this week. Hello, Fabulous Sagittarius. This week we've got an active new moon playing out, and this new moon is speaking to finances for you, particularly what we call other people's money. So this is grants, loans, bursaries, insurance payments, tax returns, benefits you may qualify for. And it's these very areas of life that are going to be asking for your attention and in some way a brand new beginning. And as I look at this, there might be a need for you to access this type of funding, or there might be a need for you to consider the way in which you're, for example, filing your taxes or keeping track of your money, what changes need to be made there. And it's very possible with a sky like this that there may be some changes with your bank or your financial institution. And in some cases might even take you a little bit by surprise. And it might not even be that big a deal in the bigger picture, but it's just that there might be a factor there that you didn't see coming that takes place with a sky like this. I have a feeling as I look at this that you are resourceful and that there's absolutely access to resources, but it is about you being conscious, about you reaching out, and about you considering what your options may be. The other thing that I find really interesting about this given sky is that it is asking you to step up and think about your own feelings around money and your own feelings around prosperity and what you could be doing different to generate more income for yourself, particularly the commission type. And so if there's anything you could be doing to generate passive income, this might be a good time to consider your options. With where it comes to matters of love, we have Venus right now moving through a part of the sky that is all about the real deal. So the superficial just is not going to cut it for you. As I look at this sky, I feel like if you're open to meeting someone new, it's got to be someone who stirs your soul if you're going to be interested at all. It's got to be someone who has the potential to reach right to the heart of you. If you are somebody who is in an established bond, this can be a time of financial changes with your partner. This can also be a time when you are in some way considering what financial obligations the two of you have to each other. I also feel as I look at this sky that it might surprise you that some vulnerabilities are revealed here. Some deep emotions are coming to the surface, either for you or your partner. And it ultimately is going to be information that helps you to decide and in some way changes the perception. So it's like it helps you to decide what you really feel about this person, what your future is going to be, and in some way changes the depth of your connection to this person that you love. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week we have got a new moon in your opposite sign. It is all about love and other people. So it's partnerships in business, partnerships of heart that are going to very much have your attention. And this is going to be a very important time for you in matters of love and partnership. I do think as I look at the sky that this could be a time when some very powerful partnership can be formed. It might not be ideal, it might not be completely fair all around, but it is something that has the potential to change your life and to change your fortunes dramatically. My advice would be, if you want change in your life, if you want change in your work, this is the time to be meeting people. Get out and about, be busy, go to any kind of industry, whatever activity. Ultimately, you are going to be so grateful that you did do it, because it is going to be the thing that helps you to connect with other people, one of which very possibly could become a partner for you. Also professionally as well, if you want to reach out to people more actively and say, meet with agents, for example, submit proposals to actually have people be representatives to you, depending on your industry, this could be a really good time to do that. Again, it doesn't look like it's completely balanced. Their commission rate might be really high. There might be some money that you have to put down, but ultimately this could be just what you need to make that shift, to make that move. Of course, listen to your gut, right? Listen to yourself if it feels right or not. But if it does feel right, and if it is something that you can do, you've got to trust your circumstances as well. So if you are somebody who is, just barely getting by, and you meet somebody who says, yeah, I'll represent you if you give me $10,000, that might not be the pathway for you. You've got to trust your circumstances. However, there are other things that are a little bit more reasonable. So you will know what that is. Listen to yourself, trust your gut, and have that vision for your life. And you can't help but find yourself moving powerfully forward. And I do think that right now, the connections you make can end up being very valuable to you, particularly as you move towards the end of the year. But the connections start right now. It's at the end of the year when Jupiter moves into, in the fall, Jupiter will move into the very top of your sky, bringing about all kinds of career advantages. So this is the time when the connections are made that will allow some really big things to start coming to fruition as we move towards the later part of the year. When it comes to matters of love, this new moon in your opposite sign can absolutely bring somebody new, can bring a very powerful attraction, and bring an attraction that changes you from the inside out in some important way. So again, meet people, because right about now you could meet somebody who just changes the way you look at yourself and life in very dramatic ways. And of course, trust your intuition every step of the way. There might be some reality playing out there that isn't apparent at first. So again, pay attention to your intuition and pace yourself. That is key with this particular energy. Do pace yourself, because especially as we get to the end of the week, things can change very dramatically and very quickly. So you want to be sure that you're staying present. You're not having expectations about the future, but that you're staying heart open and doing what it is that you truly desire to do in the moment. For those of you in an established bond, there's going to be some kind of powerful renegotiating and fresh start that takes place with your partner. There might be a brave conversation that needs to be had, but ultimately that will be just the thing that is needed to feel that sense of starting fresh and starting with greater honesty and a greater sense of where the two of you are together. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. This week we have got a new moon playing out in a part of the sky for you that has to do with the work and the workplace. So in some way, your work is going through some change and some sense of a fresh start and a new beginning. There is a sense of taking a risk here. Yes, that's part of it. But really, this is about transformation. This is a really good time for you to be thinking about what you really want to do in terms of your work. All of the air signs out there in some way are thinking about and reconsidering what's going on in the realm of work in their own unique ways. For the Geminis, it's about the money. For the Libras, it's about the big aim, the big goal. For you, it's about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. The daily ins and outs of the tasks that you are performing. Do you like it or not? Is it helping you build wealth or not? Where is it that you're ready to create some fundamental and profound changes? Where is it that you're ready to experience a transformation of sorts so that you can start moving yourself in a direction that feels that much more rewarding at that? What I do really love about this sky for you is that there's a sense now of consequence and a sense now that you deserve to do something that feels right and you deserve to be surrounded by supportive people. Some of this learning and understanding might happen because of you having some sort of interaction in the workplace that is just drama. So be aware of that. Coworkers, immediate supervisors might be people who are creating some drama right about now. There might be changes on that front with the people who surround you. And that might be just the thing you need as a springboard to make some more deeper changes in the realm of the work you're doing and the workplace you're in. If you're in a toxic environment, this is going to be a time when you are just ready to make that change. And that could be the best thing that you do for yourself. This could also be you getting a new opportunity in the workplace. Now, there doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of more money with this, but it does look like a change of responsibilities that allows you to feel that you're moving your life forward. And if you're self-employed, your offerings, how you're putting yourself out there, how you're garnering clients, all of that could go through some changes right now. But at the end of the day, this can be a time that is very, very busy. There's a lot of pressure on you right now, a lot that you've got to get done. And absolutely, you can meet the challenge with focus. That is going to be your ally this week. When it comes to matters of love, this week, we've got an interesting love-related sky. Early in the week, there's a whole lot of passion. Late in the week, there's like surprises that, you didn't really know were coming and you don't really know what to do about them. So really not the time for any kind of romantic declarations to anybody new. I would really be mindful of that. I would also say to you, as much as early in the week we have this really sweet, really nice energy that says passion all around. If you connect with someone new, it could start off really intense and then, on a dime just seem to part ways, which can happen sometimes. So be aware of that. It's just one possibility, or it might just be if you're in an established bond or with somebody new that all of a sudden one person needs space. So it could be just very suddenly you have a need to travel, or your partner, one of you, particularly you, gets very busy and can't be as present, particularly for one key event or moment. But ultimately, if the love is there, the love will be as strong as ever. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week, we've got this beautiful, beautiful and active sky playing out. And particularly for you, we have got this new moon happening in fellow water sign Cancer, which suggests that regardless of how events play out, you're in your element. All the water signs out there are going to be dealing with this energy with grace and with a certain confidence and certainty that might not otherwise be there. What I really love about this sky is that there's a sense now that your life is changing. And there's a sense now that you've got a lot to say, you have a voice, you desire to use it. And there's also a sense now with this energy that love is a part of this. Creative fulfillment is a part of this. There's a part of you that wants to experience a sense of opening, of blessings, of possibility, given this sky. So this is super romantic. This is very much about the flirtation that changes your life. Very possible, particularly those of you born smack dab in the middle of your sign, around the 10th, give or take 5 days on either side of any month. If you were born, you're going to feel this energy more than most. And those of you open to meeting someone new, even more so this applies. So what that means is be aware. You might attract somebody into your life now, and it might just be a moment, but it has consequence for you. It has a quality to it that has you feeling ready for a change and ready for a transformation. If you are in an established bond, this can be a very powerful time of thinking about fulfillment and what the two of you need to stay in love and to stay together. There might be some negotiating around that front. that ultimately can solidify the bond that much more, especially if you're patient with each other. In other areas of life, if you're an artist, if you rely on your creativity, this is a time you want to carve out. I have a feeling as I look at this that you might write something, you might create something that has a very profound effect, especially for you. And if you're in one of these industries, if you rely on your creativity for your livelihood, this is the time for you to be considering reaching out to other people to help take what you do to the next level of awareness and to the next level of influence as well. Well, thank you so much to all signs out there. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. Head over to my website right now to get early access to the Jupiter Special Horoscopes. In the month of September, Jupiter will change signs. We'll move into the sign of Libra. This is so exciting as all of us in some way are going to notice our blessings shift and feel ourselves getting more hopeful and getting more opportunity in a very practical kind of way in a new area of life. So based on your sun sign, based on your moon sign, your rising sign, Jupiter will bless your life in new ways. So to find out how and to get an early look into how, head on to my website, nadiyashah.com. And of course, those horoscopes will be available on YouTube to the public on YouTube in the month of September. But if you want an early look, visit my website. And I look forward to seeing you there. It'll be great. This move of Jupiter into Libra will be great. Enjoy.